Today, we're diving into a political scandal where the real fight isn't just about money or power. Nope, it's about the very nature of truth itself. It's a story that all comes down to one explosive piece of digital evidence and one senator's pretty wild attempt to prove it means absolutely nothing.
And really, that's what this whole thing boils down to. In a world where we all live through our phones, what happens when the proof of a conversation, a simple screenshot, can just be waved away as a fake? This was the exact question at the heart of a very, very dramatic Senate hearing.
And this is the sentence that set everything off. Just picture it, a senator accused of some serious corruption, and his defense isn't a simple denial. No, his defense is a live demonstration on how to create a lie. So what exactly was he claiming he could do in 20 seconds?
To really get that quote, we have to go inside that Senate hearing, where Senator Villanueva pulled out a defense strategy that, let me tell you, almost nobody saw coming.
So instead of just saying, "I didn't do it," he argued that the evidence itself, screenshots of text messages, was fundamentally broken, untrustworthy. And to prove his point, he decided to show everyone, right there on national television, just how ridiculously easy it is to cook up a fake.
His point was actually pretty simple, but also really powerful. He was saying, look, in less than half a minute, I can change who a message is from, I can edit the photo's date to fit whatever story I want, and then pass it off as the real deal. His whole argument was, if I can do this in 20 seconds, how can you possibly trust this evidence against me?
Okay, but what was he even being accused of? I mean, it had to be something pretty serious to warrant such a high-stakes theatrical defense, right? Well, the allegations themselves pointed to a very specific kind of corruption.
The claims came from two former officials from the Department of Public Works and Highways. You might know it as the DPWH. They came forward with screenshots of so-called disappearing messages from the phone of a district engineer named Henry Alcantara. And these messages, they allegedly showed Senator Villanueva himself coordinating funds for flood control projects in his home province.
So here's the breakdown of how this whole thing supposedly went down. The accusers claim the senator first asked for 1.5 billion pesos for buildings, but when only 600 million got approved, those funds were, let's say, rerouted to flood control projects instead. Now here's the kicker. Contractors were allegedly told they had to pay a 25% kickback just to get a piece of the action.
Now you do the math. 25% of a 600 million peso budget, that comes out to a whopping 150 million pesos. That number, which is roughly $2.5 million US, is the prize at the center of this whole mess. A massive amount of cash, allegedly skimmed right out of public funds.
All right, so you're facing these incredibly serious accusations. What do you do? Well, Senator Villanueva didn't just bank on his 20-second magic trick. He rolled out a full-blown, multi-part defense to fight back hard.
His game plan was basically a three-pronged attack. First, like we saw, go after the evidence itself. Call it fake. Second, go after the people accusing him. Question their character, their credibility. And third, bring in a key witness to just flat out say, nope, their story is wrong. The absolute foundation of his entire defense was this one powerful idea. He just hammered it home, over and over again. If we rely on pictures, anyone can claim anything. He was trying to plant this seed of digital doubt in everyone's mind, the committee, the public, all of us.
Next up, he went after the accusers directly. He brought up this whole other issue where the two officials had apparently been accused of using fake driver's licenses, supposedly to get into casinos. The implication was crystal clear. Hey, if these guys would fake an official ID, why on earth wouldn't they fake a screenshot? He then said it himself, and I'm translating here, these two have a history of faking public documents. Why would they be scared to do it now, Mr. Chairman? It was a direct personal attack on their integrity.
And finally, the third part of his defense, he brings in the district engineer, Henry Alcantara. You know, the guy whose phone supposedly had all these incriminating messages. And the difference in their stories was just stark. The accuser, J.P. Mendoza, he lays out all the details of how the funds were moved. Alcantara's response, a total denial. He literally said there's no such thing as flood control and that Villanueva never ever asked him for a project like that. Suddenly you have a classic he said standoff with two completely opposite stories.
So you've got this dramatic live demo, a full-on attack on the accusers, and a direct denial from a key figure. Sounds like a pretty solid defense, right? Well, the public reaction was a little more complicated. Did this whole theatrical strategy actually pay off? You see, for a lot of people watching, the senator's big stunt didn't prove he was innocent at all.
Instead, it kind of looked like he was giving a how-to lesson on committing fraud. Critics jumped on it, calling it a tutorial on forgery and saying that his comfort level with faking evidence was maybe more incriminating than anything else.
And that was really the heart of the backlash. People argued that by focusing so much on how a screenshot could be faked, he was creating this convenient smokescreen, a way to distract everyone from the much tougher, more important question, where did the 150 million pesos actually go?
Because when you get past all the digital drama, there's still a paper trail, or maybe a lack of one. This whole scandal really taps into a much bigger, much older story in politics about how public money can just vanish. This is what critics often call ghost projects. Money gets set aside in the budget for something specific, like a new building, but it ends up funding something totally different, or sometimes nothing at all. And along the way, a percentage is skimmed off the top for the people involved. The accusers here are saying this is a textbook example of that very scheme.
And maybe the most level-headed take came from the committee chairman himself, Senator Panfilo Lacson. He basically reminded everyone that a dramatic showdown in a hearing isn't a verdict. Just because you get to face your accuser on TV, that doesn't magically make all the questions about the money disappear.
Which kind of leaves us here, doesn't it? When a screenshot can be brushed off as a 20-second fake, and a paper trail can get lost in political maneuvering, how do we ever find the truth? That's the real challenge this case throws at us. It's bigger than just one senator or one hearing. It forces us to ask, how can justice and accountability even work in an age of digital doubt?